Hey, good morning, everybody. So last night, as you probably know, there was the vote in the House of Commons Parliament for the vote of no confidence on Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, by the MPs in his own party. Now, by now, you probably all know the result of that. He gets to stay as Prime Minister because the vote was 211 for confidence in Boris Johnson, 148 against. Now, let's look into that because he won. Okay, so fair enough. He stays, but it's not as clear cut as you would imagine. Now, the thing about this is that there are 95 Tory MPs at least in the government, so they are on the payroll and they are in positions where they're paid more than their £84,000 MP salary because they're in a position in the government that Boris Johnson gave them. So either they are secretaries of state or they're ministers of state or they're parliamentary private sections. 95 people. And of course, they're all going to vote for Boris Johnson, and they publicly will say they're going to vote for him because they've got a job where they get an extra 20, 30, 50,000 pounds a year, whatever, that Boris Johnson gave them. Now, if you take them out of the picture, of course they're going to vote for him, and you're just left with the backbench MPs. Those who are not in the government, who are not on the payroll, who don't get any extra money because Boris Johnson has put them in a position in the government, then the result is different. So if you just look at the backbenchers, it's not 211 to 148. Take out those 95 MPs, it's then 116 to 148. So the majority of the backbench Tory MPs in the 1922 committee, 148 against 116 at the most, voted no confidence in the Prime Minister. So a big majority of the backbenchers want him gone. He's only won because of the people in the government. And if those people, if some of them weren't in the government and they were on the backbenches, probably they would have voted no confidence in him as well. So he's going to stay for now. He's not going to resign immediately. There's not going to be a leadership contest in the immediate future. Later this month, on the 23rd of June, there will be two important by-elections happening. If you're in the USA, you call them special elections. It's when someone leaves their seat and then you have to vote for a replacement just in one particular seat. So Wakefield in the north, traditionally Labour area, but people with conservative values who want a real Conservative party, not the fake Conservatives that we got now. And then Tiverton and Honiton in Devon in the southwest. Again, people with real Conservative values who just can't stand the corruption and the breaking their own lockdown laws. A lot of people there are against lockdowns as well, and are just fed up of the hypocrisy and the sleaze they see coming from Westminster and want to change. So I think the Johnson's fake Conservative Party is going to lose both of those by-elections. We, obviously, the Heritage Party, we're standing in Tiverton and Honiton. We have a great candidate there, Jordan Donoghue Morgan. It's going to do very well, I think. So I'll put a link in the box below. You can have a look at more information about him. And there's a crowdfunder there as well if you want to chip in a little bit for our leaflets and campaign to try to get rid of this terrible fake Conservative government. So those elections are going to happen on the 23rd of June. But then what's going to happen is it's summer. So people want to go away on their summer holidays and sort of have some downtime from politics. This is the July, August summer break, you know, the silly season. You get all kinds of ridiculous stories in the media cycle that would never make it into the media cycle if there were, you know, something more important going on. So I don't think anything much is going to happen in July and August. But when we come back in September, all kinds of stuff is going to go down. Not just because of what's happening in the UK, but because of what's happening around the world, you know, globally, the supply chain issues, food shortages, if we don't stop these mad sanctions on Russia and arming National Socialists in Ukraine and so on, that's going to exacerbate potential food shortages, which is going to have a knock-on effect here. We already know the price of gas and oil and fossil fuels is going up way more than it should, because NATO countries are stoking this conflict in Ukraine. So in September, there's a lot more that's going to play out, and it's really going to start having an effect on ordinary people's lives, way more than it is now. You think you've seen inflation so far. Unless something happens, that everyone starts being sensible, with the leaders we have around the world, I can't imagine that happening. Let's hope it does, but I can't imagine that. But unless people do, then there's an awful lot more completely unnecessary economic hardship is going to hit everywhere in September, October. And then I think Johnson is toast. He's gone, because he is responsible for pursuing this mad net zero climate alarmist agenda against most of the people who voted for him in 2019. Most people voted for him because he said he'd get Brexit done, and that was the number one issue in 2019. But now the number one issue is the cost of living crisis, and he is responsible for continuing with this crazy net zero agenda. So come the autumn, I don't think he's going to survive for very much longer. The question is then, who's going to replace him in the Conservative Party? There is nobody. There's nobody with any, leadership quality whatsoever in the Conservative Party. They're all duds. The people whose names have been touted as potential successors to Boris Johnson this week. Jeremy Hunt, Liz Truss. My goodness, really, you wouldn't want them running a toilet, let alone a government. So there's nobody there to take over who would do a better job. Boris Johnson is bad, but everyone else is even worse. So there may well be a general election. It's less likely that there's going to be a general election this year now, because he's won this leadership contest on the back of the people who he's given a job to get money from him. But it's not over. But, who knows? I can't see the future. I can only guess and analyse. But we're going to go into choppy waters in the autumn. So, we'll be watching. We'll be ready. And if you want a change as well, as I always say, please do come and join us in the Heritage Party. Link is below, to make a change for the better in this country, which will also help to make a change for the better around the world as well. Okay, God bless you all.